running Cat 140 today. So I'm just kind of doing maintenance blading right now. So what I do is I articulate just slightly, and then I always have my differential locked. That way both your tandems are pulling the same amount. Helps stabilize your machine a lot more. And then what I do is I'm driving my right front tire up here right on the crown of the road on the center, and then I'm using that to drive straight with. And then I'm placing my windrow on center line and just across. You always want to get it across the center, because that way when you come back to blade it off, if you're not across your center line, you're going to be scalping your crown of the road, taking the crown out of the road, and you don't want to do that. Really hot and dry here right now. We're 98 degrees this afternoon, and heat index of like 104. Pretty miserable out there, but kind of amazing. You got this much glass around you in this 140, and I got my air conditioner on low right now all the way into the cool, and it's keeping up just fine. So very thankful to have a new machine with a good AC system in it, because if the air wasn't working today, it'd be pretty miserable out there. Got a chance of rain tonight, so hopefully we'll get a little shot of rain to maybe settle the dust and make it a little better blading anyway. But then what I look for when I go down the road, I'm always scanning ahead, you know, probably I'd say anywhere from blade length to 2 blade lengths ahead, and you're always looking at what that road's doing ahead of you. That way you can start making the changes before you get there, because if you try to make changes when you're there, a lot of times it's already too late. But you don't have to touch the moldboard much. It generally takes care of itself. There's a reason the motor grader is so long. Some people think just because it gets dry you gotta quit blading roads. I kind of disagree with that. You still need to keep that gravel on the road and keep that shape to them. And a lot of it is just even cutting weeds and keeping the grass from growing in on the road. It just keeps everything in a lot better shape. And I would actually rather blade a road when it's dry and get it in good shape, get it all cut out, and have a nice rain on it, and pack everything in. You get a lot better finished product, especially if you don't have any kind of compaction. If you don't have a packer and you're out blading with moisture, if it doesn't get packed in, you're still going to have loose marbles. So that's kind of what I do, you know, for pulling the windrow in. I run my blade angle fairly sharp. That way you want to keep the material rolling across the blade nice. And then you can kind of see my pitch. I can see just the tip of my cutting edge. It's a good angle to have for pulling in a light maintenance windrow and then cutting any of the weeds off. And I got carbides on, so you're running on your carbides, so it always makes them last a little longer versus running all the way back. But when I I do my motor grader trainings, probably the most common thing I see is people always trying to mess with the controls. You generally don't have to move them much, and it's just small adjustments if you do. Less is more on a motor grader. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys how I blade the rim row off. So what I like to do is I actually blade through all my intersections, go in each direction. So what I do is I'll bring my blade straight, go through the corner, and then once I get past the corner, I start angling my blade back again. Now you got to pick up your middle, run your circle rotate, push down on your left hand side on the outside, keep spinning that circle, and then run your blade side shift out there. And now I got my blade back to where I would normally run with the normal angle. I always try to keep my rim row about a foot from the grass line. That way you can have enough room when you come back next time to blade that you can sneak the end of the moldboard in there to pick it up. So that's kind of critical. And then what I do is I pick something on the front of my machine. Right now I'm running with my main neck of the blade right down my rim row, and then I just follow that down the road and drive straight, you know, keep looking to the next straightest point and drive straight off of that. Generally blading off, you don't have to mess with your moldboard a whole bunch. Generally once you get it set, you just leave it alone. You know, obviously if you come to a spot where you need to take and build the crown up a little bit, you can take and lift up just a little bit as you get there, but generally it'll take care of itself. I try to leave, you know, a ½ inch of material on center line, ½ inch to an inch, depending on, you know, what your material's like, if you got moisture, if you don't. It kind of depends on, you know, your conditions. Right now I'm not laying a whole lot down just because it's extremely hot and dry right now, and I don't really want any more loose gravel on the road bed than I need right now. Just mainly trying to maintain the crown and keep a good shape to the road, cut any weeds or vegetation off, and just keep that road width where it needs to be. guys that like to run their blade a little straighter. You know, some guys like running without a renderal. It all depends on your department policy, but I'm a big fan of leaving a maintenance renderal. That way you always have material to work with, especially when it gets this time of year where it's hot and dry. You always want to have material to roll back and forth on the roadbed, and you really don't want to have to cut into that roadbed, especially if it's hard. You're just going to bring up that much more loose material, and then before long you just got so much float that it stays rough all the time. So I like a little maintenance render. It doesn't have to be much, but just something that you can work back and forth on the road. And also I have a tendency to run my blade as tight as I can get it majority of the time, just for the simple fact of the safety. In this township there's not a lot of traffic, but in some of my other ones I got all kinds of cars flying by me, so I generally like to keep my blade as tight to the front wheel as I can. That way I don't have that much sticking out in the traffic if I can help it. Believe it or not, I've been hit twice in my career running blade on township roads. It's not a fun experience. You know, luckily nobody's gotten hurt over the times that I've been hit, but I can tell you, it's not a good feeling when you have somebody run into you. But that's kind of how I generally blade my render off. This is just general maintenance, 2-pass blading. Pull the the old render off of the shoulder, bring it across center line, and then I'm taking it from the center line back to the opposing shoulder, where it'll sit for probably 2 weeks, and then I will take and pull that back in and do the same thing. But if anybody's got any questions on how I do something, or video suggestion of something, let me know, put it down in the comments. Would like to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video, and I'll keep the good content coming. Thanks for watching.